It's so damn easy to get mad at people and condemn them for certain things they've said or opinions they have. That's the really easy way out of forming a logical, constructive way of looking at things and attempting to affect real change on the world, and having everyone's best interest in mind. You know, I think we see this with a lot of social justice warriors, and I mean, even Trump supporters. I think what happens is people stand by a cause so much, they believe in it so much, that when someone even attempts to, you know, delve into that a little bit and talk about maybe how it could be the theory or idea could be improved upon, or how it could be, it might be wrong in some way. People get so defensive about it. It's just like this deep embedded insecurity, and the flaw is that they want to be so devoted to this cause, this idea, because they want to use it to define themselves, that anything that tests that disagrees with that is the enemy, is a lie, is something to hate and to get angry at, and then because of that attack it, because you're so devoted to it that you have to oppose the other side, and by opposing the other side, you gotta attack the people that are promoting it, because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous philosophy if it disagrees with something that you fundamentally stand for so strongly. All right, that's why people do it, but it's wrong. It's not constructive, because that creates a cycle where you're like attacking them, and then they get defensive, and then because of their own insecurities, and they are standing by their point so much because they believe in it so much, and the reason they believe in it so much because they've been raised in a way and taught by their family, and just like their parents taught them that, like, most people who believe in a certain, this is mostly political ideologies, most people who believe in political ideologies do so because their parents believed in it. So all these thoughts are embedded in their heads from a young age, and then they've learned this way of doing things, and that's why they are the way they are, and we have to understand that. So all this does is create a cycle of hatred, and it create a cycle of chaos, because no one will come to an agreement on anything or even talk about it or delve into the logic of it. They just attack each other and are so defensive and so stubborn about their views because of how the other party is acting. And they are acting ridiculous, but we have to realize why, and we have to realize that that's not an effective way to promote any change. The only way to promote real change is to not get offended by ideas. We have to be open to all ideas so that we can implement new ideas and talk about like bridging the gap between different ideas and ideologies. It's really important that we do that, because we're at a point where we're just attacking one another, and it's a cycle. I'll just say, just a cycle in the verbal discourse. Like I say, like the social justice warrior takes something someone says, like one sentence, and blows it up. Like, this person's an asshole. They said this. They said this. Well, you're not even delving into their logic really necessarily if you're claiming the one sentence. I'm not defending everybody, but we have to like ask them, like, why are you saying that? Like, can you provide reasoning? Like, what do you think is the logical evidence for your opinion on that? And then I think if we hear people out and get their explanation on why they view things a certain way, we get a greater understanding of them, and we are like, oh, okay, I guess I kind of see why you believe that. And then from there, we understand, we open up the humanity in all of us, because we just understand that, like, we all want what's best for the world. We all want what's best for each other. We've just been taught in different ways and raised in different environments and had our own unique experiences which define the way we view the world. And we need to figure out how to bridge all of our views in the world by understanding that we all go through conflict. We're all human beings. We all have people we love, family, friends, and we all want what's best for the world. And so we need to bridge the gap of understanding and misunderstanding, bridge the gap of different expectations. I think a lot of people really do want what's best for everybody. They just have different ideas of about what that means. And a lot of them, the big dividers, are political ideas, which are somewhat ambiguous, and we can't really prove what is the most effective way of dealing out policy. We know that there's flaws in every policy. We know there's flaws with Republican ideas. We know there's flaws with socialist ideas. So we have to understand, and economics is such a deep and complicated and vast topic that we really have to understand that, like, it's so hard to grasp what the best idea is, and both ideas have pros and cons. There are bad things within each political ideology, but we have to figure out what the best is, and we have to move forward in a way that is gonna benefit the most amount of people. And we might not all agree, but we have to talk about it and really talk about it and really delve into logic and really break it down, and not take the easy way out of attacking people and getting mad, because all that does is cloud your judgment, and all that does is cloud the idea, and it takes away from the actual trying to affect real change. So we need to fucking get past that bullshit and realize that we need to break down the logic. We need to talk constructively. We can't let ourselves fall into that easy, ridiculous pattern of getting angry about what someone's saying. Oh, you said this, fuck you. No, it's like, no, you're just hurting the cause. You're not helping anyone. That's never been constructive ever. That's using force, verbal force, to attack someone and bring them down. It's not helping the cause at all. It's not pushing the logic. It's not bringing people to your cause in a way that will promote effective change. We really, if we want to do what's best for the world, we have to break down the logic of things. We really have to delve into issues. Trump supporters and other side, let's say social justice warriors, whatever. We need to talk to each other and resist the urge to get mad when someone says something and ask them to define it. Like, why do you think that? And really delve and really try, because that's the only way things are going to get done. That's the only way change is going to be had. And it's so important, and everything that you do and you stand for represents everything that is in the world, in the sense that we can really only control ourselves. We can influence other people and we can have a vast amount of influence, but the only thing at the end of the day we can truly control is ourselves. And so we are our representation of the world. Everything we do, we have to put on a continuum and realize that everything we do is okay for other people to do. So what, like, you know what I mean? Like, so let's just say everything I do in a day, I have to be okay with other people doing those exact things. I have to believe in what I stand for. I have to believe in the way I'm living life. And, it's everything's so crucial. We all affect one another. I might affect 20 people in a given day, right? And then within those 20 people, another person affects 10 people. Then that one of those 10 people affects another 50 people, 100, and right? And then pretty soon you branch it out, and I know someone who knows someone knows someone who knows someone who affects, like, we're all affecting each other, who lives in China, and then we're all just together, part of this web of humanity, part of the same sort of thing. And we really, really, really need to understand how much our influence means. People, I think that there's a general sense with things, sometimes with anonymity, where there's so many people in the world that people feel that their own purpose is sort of useless. Like, they don't know where they stand because it's so hard to affect real change in the world when there's so many people. There's all these massive bureaucracies, there's all this big government, and we're just this one little tiny fish swimming in the pond. But our fish swimming in a vast ocean. I mean, that's what I mean. But we have to realize, like, we all affect one another, and we might not be, not everyone's not going to be a big celebrity or something like that, but there's so many more people who aren't famous than people who are. Like, it's ridiculous. And at the end of the day, we all have these micro interactions where we run into people and we affect them, and we can either choose to treat them bad or treat them good, and we can either choose to talk about constructive ideas or hate on one another. And hatred is such a poor form of feeling. It's such a poor form of reality, because all you're doing is consciously tapping into something that is destructive and doesn't promote real change. The best changes in the world have come from people, or in our modern societies have come from people like Martin Luther King, who had a very optimistic view of humanity and wanted to bridge humanity together as a whole, and did so with optimism, with extreme compassion and love for humanity. And we really need to promote that, to promote real change, effective change that's going to change our society. And we need to change the world, and we need to realize it all starts with us. We have the ability to influence so many people on a day-to-day basis, and if that influence is positive, especially if it's very positive, then those people we influence are going to influence other people positively. And all these micro interactions, all these ripples, they go outward, and they affect the entire world, because we're all connected. And we need to realize how important our role is. We need to realize how important we are, and we need to figure out how to fuel ourselves, or drive ourselves in a way towards our passions and towards things that motivate us and interest us, and where we can really make a dent in the world. Because if we do, like, then we're gonna change the world. Like, we all have our place, we all have our own strengths, we all have our weaknesses. We need to fuel our strengths and our interests, things that we're interested in, things that we're good at, so that we can make the best dent in the world that we know how, doing the thing that we do best and love. And when we do things we love and do things that make us happy, we influence people around us better. We make them better, and then those people are, might be happier because they're now around us more. Like, if we're, that's those slight micro interactions. They have a strong effect. If if you're very positive to someone, if you're very nice to someone, and then maybe those people affect other people, and pretty soon everybody's involved. Everybody, and we can all affect each other positively, and we can all commit to a vision of the better world. But we have to realize it starts with ourselves, and we have to realize what a duty it is to be a good person, and to break down the logic of things, and not tune into hatred, because hatred is a destructive force and doesn't do anything for the world, and all it does is hinder real change and positivity from growing. And so, please, guys, just commit to a better world and a better version of yourself. A better version of yourself is a way to commit to a better world. That's the way to do so.